What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports and back to you guys with another video. This video, I'm here with my Miami Dolphins 7th round 2020 mock draft. And for the Miami Dolphins, me personally, I think the Miami Dolphins had the best free agency out of any team in the NFL. And I think they are the most improved team going into the NFL draft. Now, they do still have a lot of holes that they have to fill, but a positive for them is that they have a lot of draft picks. So with the fact that they have a lot of draft picks, I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as possible and not spend a lot of time on these so the video isn't elongated. So before I get into it, make sure you please like and subscribe to the well, first make sure you like the video, then subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. And also when you subscribe to the channel, you get me one subscriber closer to my subscriber goal of 10,000 subscribers. So with their first round pick, fifth overall, having selecting quarterback out of Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, it was a rumor circulating that Tua Tagovailoa felt like two physicals for two different teams. Don't really know if that's true or not, but if that is, that should decrease his draft stock a little bit, so he should be able to fall to the Miami Dolphins with the fifth overall selection without them having to trade up. I still don't believe that the Miami Dolphins really have to trade up to get to it because when you look at the first couple of teams that's on the board, you got the Redskins, the Bengals, the Lions, and the Giants. That's not in order, but those are the teams that are picking ahead of them. So I know the Giants looking to trade down, but I really don't believe nobody's really going to trade up for Tua when you think of his injury. So he should be able to fall to the Miami Dolphins with the fifth overall selection. And I know he has an injury pass and things like that, but still, the Miami Dolphins are in a situation that they don't have to start Tua Tagovailoa right away. He basically can get drafted by the Dolphins and sit behind the year behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he can use that added year to heal up and then come back in 2021 really 110% healthy. So the Miami Dolphins are not in a situation that they have to start Tua Tagovailoa right away. Ryan Fitzpatrick really played very well for the Dolphins last year, considering their situation when it came to the offensive line and not really having that much talent around them. With their second first round pick, I have them selecting offensive tackle Austin Jackson out of USC. Now, for a lot of people or some people are a little bit split when it comes to Austin Jackson. Some people in the comment section may think this is a reach. Some people in the comment section might like this pick, but I mean, Austin Jackson, in my opinion, is a first round offensive tackle. And by this point, I think the Miami Dolphins should address the need of offensive tackle at this point in the draft. And it probably won't be no good first round caliber offensive tackles at this point in the draft. It's like a loaded offensive tackle class. So I don't really think the Miami Dolphins want to skip on trying to get a first round offensive tackle. And you can end up getting Austin Jackson, who is a little bit raw, but I still think throughout preseason, throughout training camp, he should improve good enough that he should be able to be the starter right away for the Miami Dolphins and improve that offensive line. Now, with their third first round selection, I have them selecting a halfback, DeAndre Swift out of University of Georgia. Now, I know they picked up Jordan Howard in free agency, but I mean, I think Jordan Howard is an okay halfback, but I mean, I still think they should look to add some more depth there. Well, not even depth, but some more skill there at the halfback position. Because look, Jordan Howard is okay, but I think he's an average back at best. DeAndre Swift gives you a little bit more out of Jordan than what you get from Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard isn't really that great when it comes to catching passes out the backfield and things like that. DeAndre Swift is a Swift Army Knight. No pun intended, but I mean, he can do everything. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can also line up out wide sometimes and catch the ball out there. I mean, this guy can do a lot of things. He has good agility, very elusive as well, very hard to bring down in the open field. So, I mean, I think DeAndre Swift would be a perfect fit for the Miami Dolphins. And then you have him and Jordan Howard. You have a pretty solid 1-2 punch there at the halfback position. Now, with their second round selection, I have them selecting center out of Wisconsin, Tyler Badass. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but he was the best center in college football last season, in my opinion, and he is the best center in this draft class. The only reason he's probably not going in the first round is for the fact that nobody really has a big need for center in the first round. There's just so many good wide receivers and so many good offensive tackles and cornerbacks that a lot of teams are going to be indulging in those. But I think center Tyler will be a very good pickup for the Miami Dolphins. Their offensive line has a lot of holes, so I mean I think he will fill another good hole along with Jackson, who they drafted with their 18th overall pick. Now they have another second round selection. We're going to stay on the offensive side of the football when it comes to the offensive line. Have them selecting offensive guard NETANE MUTI from Fresno State. Now, this guy is a big sleeper when it comes to a lot of people. I mean, this guy has great size, and a lot of people are really high on this guy. I've been seeing a lot of film analysis on this guy on YouTube, and a lot of people think he has potential to end up being the best offensive lineman in his draft class. And when you look at the Miami Dolphins offensive line, they need another starter who they can plug in there because their offensive line wasn't good at all last season. So, I think this guy will be a nice pickup and a nice addition to improving that Miami Dolphins offensive line. Now, with their third round selection, having them selecting edge rusher Terrell Lewis out of Alabama. Now, Terrell Lewis, in my opinion, is um I really don't know what to think about him. I mean, he had okay production out of Alabama, but I mean, I still don't really know who he is. I mean, I think he could play inside linebacker as well if they needed him to because he has that versatility. But I really don't know what the Miami Dolphins could use with him. But I think Brian Flores coming from that Bill Belichick coaching tree. Bill Belichick is a guy who loves having hybrids on his defense. He loves having guys who can play multiple positions, and that's what Terrell Lewis will be able to do. So the question is, will he play edge or will he play linebacker? That's the question. Now, the fourth round selection, I have them selecting safety J.R. Reed out of UGA, Georgia. Now, J.R. Reed isn't going to blow you away when it comes to athleticism and things like that, but I mean, he has good ball hawking ability. And also, this is one of the smartest players on the defense side of the football in this draft class. I mean, this guy has a very high IQ. You go back and look at his career versus when he was playing for the University of Georgia. I mean, this guy was always somewhere around the football. Doesn't matter if it was a run play or a pass play. This guy has great instincts and great awareness on the football field. So I could see Brian Flores picking him up in the fourth round of the draft because he fits the mold of what he wants. He wants smart, intelligent football players, and that's what J.R. Reed is. Now, their fifth round selection, I have them selecting a wide receiver Stephen Gurdy out of Mississippi State. Now, Stephen Gurdy is a guy who doesn't really have a lot of production due to how poor the quarterback play has been from Mississippi State over the last past seasons. But I think this is the guy who the Miami Dolphins should look to bring in to bring some competition to the wide receiver position when it comes to depth. Now, they do have Allen Hurns. They do got Devontae Parker who broke out last season. I mean, they still have basically, other than the first two wide receivers, they have a wide open competition when it comes to the third and number four wide receiver on the roster. So I think you can bring in Stephen Gurdy, and then you can bring him in, see if he's good enough to be one of those three starting wide receivers. If he could be a wide receiver three, a wide receiver four, or end up being your fifth wide receiver on your depth chart. So I think he will bring some much needed competition to the wide receiver position for the Miami Dolphins because basically at this point they're just looking for depth. You already have Devontae Parker and you already got Allen Hurns, but they don't really have a lot of good receivers after that. So you bring him in for some depth and for some competition at a wide receiver position. Now, going on to their next fifth round selection, have them selecting another guy out of Mississippi State University, defensive end Chauncey Rivers. Now, you may remember Chauncey Rivers because he was on the Last Chance U series on Netflix. Now, this is a guy who last season started out a little bit slow, but he really picked up this play in the second half of the college football season. He was probably the best player or one of the best players that Mississippi State had on their defensive line this past season. So I think Chauncey Rivers could come in. The Miami Dolphins are pretty stacked when it comes to their defensive line, but I think he could bring some depth, and then maybe if somebody goes down for injury, he can end up becoming a starter. Um, and then, yeah, I think he will be a really good addition when it comes to depth. I'm not really looking forward to seeing him start, really. I think the Miami Dolphins bring him in more for added depth when it comes to their interior of their defensive line. Now, they have another fifth round selection, 174th overall, offensive tackle Charlie Heck. Now, Charlie Heck has a father who played in the NFL. He was a former first round selection, I believe, out of the University of Notre Dame. And Charlie Heck, man, this guy has very high football IQ as well at an offensive tackle position. But the thing with him is like he's not the most athletic, he's not the most consistent at all. So I'm not expecting him to be a starter, but he's more as a guy who can come in and be a good backup for the Miami Dolphins and fill out some depth. Now, when it comes to their sixth round pick, I have them selecting halfback Joshua Kelly out of UCLA. Now, Joshua Kelly is a guy who can end up coming in. He can end up being a great special teamer, or he can end up being another depth piece at the halfback position if he's able to make the roster. Now, I know they already do have Jordan Howard, and I already mocked them to picking up DeAndre Swift. But again, at this point in the draft, you're looking for depth, and I think that's what Joshua Kelly brings you at a halfback position. Now, with their 7th round selection, I have them selecting cornerback Stanford Samuels, the third out of FSU. Now, me personally, I like Stanford Samuels. I think he could end up going a lot higher than what I have him in this mock draft. But the big knock on him is the fact that he's kind of in that Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams conversation. Like, he's a good man-to-man press cornerback, but the thing is, he's not that great of a tackler, and he's also very skinny and kind of lanky. He kind of has like a basketball body, and that's a big knock on him. So I mean, he's a solid man-to-man corner if you need a good press corner or a good slot cornerback. But I mean, if you're gonna ask this guy to pick up and help you out in the run game, he really wouldn't be the best option for that, which is why a lot of people compare him to Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams, because those are two great man-to-man press cornerbacks, but they're not really the best of tacklers. So with their next 7th round selection, have them selecting edge rusher Bryce Huff out of Memphis. Now, a lot of people are really high on Bryce Huff. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing a lot of people when I do these mock drafts talk about how they want to get Bryce Huff. But me personally, he's not the most athletic, and he just has a lot of flaws in his game. So I think he could end up being a good day 3 selection, and the Miami Dolphins could bring him in. Maybe he potentially, if they're able to develop him, he can end up being a solid starter in the NFL. But I mean, for the most part, he should be a guy who you should look to bring in for depth, and who could end up playing a role on the special team side of football. So with their last 7th round selection, have them select their linebacker Antoine Brooks out of Maryland University. Now, Antoine Brooks, the thing with him is that he's really undersized at the linebacker position. He's basically like a converted safety playing a linebacker. He reminds me a lot of Deion Buchanan, if you guys remember who that was. He was most memorable for his time when he played for the Arizona Cardinals. He was basically like a converted safety that got converted from safety to linebacker. And he was really solid for the Arizona Cardinals. That was during Bruce Arians' stint in Arizona, and that's what Antoine Brooks reminds me of, is Deion Buchanan. So this is it for my Miami Dolphins 7th round mock draft. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content, and thanks for watching.